What is a file? It is a named collection of related information that is recorded on secondary storage. From a user's perspective, a file is the smallest allotment of logical secondary storage. That is, data cannot be written to the secondary storage unless they are within a file. That is what I am telling you. You cannot write anything into your secondary storage until and unless it is written in any type of file. So commonly files represent programs, that is both source and the object form and the data. Now, data files may be numeric. Different type of files are there? Numeric, alphabetic, alphanumeric, or binary. So files may be freeform, such as text files, or maybe formatted rigidly. Freeform means there is no formatting. Like in Notepad, you cannot do any formatting. Simple text you written on that, and like MS Word, PPT, you do a lot of formatting. Formatting means look and feel of your file. Now, in general, a file is a sequence of bits, bytes, lines, or records, the meaning of which is defined by the file's creator and the user. So what are the different file attributes? A file attributes vary from one operating system to another, but typically consist of these what? Name, what is the name of the file? This is the only human readable content. Next is identifier. This is your unique type, identifies within a file system used by the operating system, and the type needed for the system that supports different types. Like it is an exe file, notepad file, txt file, or ppt file. This is that type is there. Now, location, where this file is located in the hard disk, what is the size of the file, what are the protection is there, like who can access, read, write, and execute things on that file, and time, date, and user identification is there. So what is file attribute? Let me show you directly. As you can see here, this file, 42 file system, right? Right click on it. You can go on properties. Now you can see here, what is the name of the file? Can you see? Can you see here? Name of the file?
Yes,
And
sir.
then type of file. Here you can see the type of file.
Yes, sir.
OpenStream, the software is named here, by which software you are using this, opening this file. What is the location? This is the identifier. You can see the location where this file residing in my laptop. Size is also there, and the size on the disk is there. Created when, modified when, and accessed when. And
सर
here you can see.
साइज क्या डिफरेंट है?
क्या बेटा?
सर साइज और साइज ऑन डिस्क में क्या डिफरेंट है?
बेटा सिंपल फाइल का साइज क्या है, और जब आप डिस्क पे आते हो तो आपको एक डायरेक्टरी के अंदर आना होता है, राइट? वो भी आगे पढ़ेंगे कि डायरेक्टरी क्या होती है. Then you will understand that why extra size is there when it is on the disk. Okay, got
Okay,
it?
sir.
Now here you can see there are some advanced options you can go through, and then you can see security, group name, something like that. By looking at this, can you tell me what is the name of my laptop? Can you tell me? Can you tell me what is the name of my laptop? Come on.
Text is not visible.
It is not visible. My screen is not visible.
Sir, cool PC.
Exactly.
Sir, call PC administration.
Just cool PC. That is the user login
Yes, sir.
administrator. Okay, very good. So you got the name of my laptop. Cool name, na? Okay, so here you can see, you can change the permission, etc. Here you can add more users, something you can write here, the username you want to add. You can delete something, like you can remove something, you can give the permission, right? Now, just do the analysis, what sort of things are there. You can see here that on this authenticated user, these are the permissions for authenticated users. What you can see here, protection, that control who can do reading, writing, and executing. Okay, so where is that? My file property. Okay, so you can see here, read authority is there, modify, write, everything is there. And here you can see the details, content created, blah blah blah, when it is created, something like that. So now, just if you are having your laptop or computer system, you can go through and understand what are the attributes of the files, right? Got it? What are the file
Yes, sir.
attributes? Okay, then go on. So information about files are kept in the directory structure, which is maintained on the disk. Now, what are the different file operations? A file is an abstract data type, To define a file properly, we need to consider the operations that can be performed on the files, like create, write, read, reposition, delete, truncate, open, close. These are the file operations. Pretty theoretical concept. Just go through it, read once. And how you can open a file, you need a file pointer, file open count, and the disk location of the file, where it is in the computer system, and what are the access rights per process access mode information. So different type of locking is there, like providing by some operating system, like mediating access to a file. Mandatory or advisory means mandatory access is denied depending on locks held and requested. Like suppose in your faculty, in computer system, we are having an administrator login and a normal student login. With the student login, if you try to open the C drive, you will not be open the C drive, because your access is denied on the C drive, because you are not an administrative login, you are a student login. So this is something we can give a lock on that. And advisory, processes can find status of the locks and decide what to do. And here is a homework for you. You have to list out all the different type of files with extension like exe file, notepad file, txt file, ppt file, something like that. Okay. And next is access method. You have to read from the book, that is the sequential access and the direct access. Do you got the concept? And the homework, that you have to list, you have to know the extension of the files of notepad, ppt, pdf, and like video files. Different type of video files are there, their extension, and what are the access methods. Just read once sequential, what is sequential access and what is direct access. Okay, so we are done with file system. Now next we will discuss directories. What is a directory and how it is related to the files. A directory, you can think of your file folder. In one directory, we can have a number of files, right? As you can see here.
Yes.
Can you see here the PPT? This is the file folder. You can think of as a directory, and here is number of files are there, right? So what is
Yes,
a directory? PPT is a directory, and here are the number of files. So we are done with file system. Let's start the next one, directory. Okay. So what is directory? The directory can be viewed as a symbol table that translates files names into the directory entries. Both the directory structures and the files reside on disk. Here you can see for simple representation, there is a one-to-one mapping, that in one folder there is one file, there is another folder and one file. You can think of this folder as a directory that you can understand properly. Now, operations performed on directory: search, create, delete, list, and rename, and traverse the file system. This is important logical structure of a directory. The most common scheme for defining the logical structure of directory are as follows. First one is single level directory, two level directory, three structured directories, acyclic graph directories, general graph directory. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type of logical structures are there for maintaining the directory and the files. So first one is single level directory. In single level directory, single directory for all the users. Here you can see we are having a single directory. You can just imagine it as a folder. We are having a single folder and all files will be in single folder only. Now, can you tell me, in single folder, can we have two files with the same name and extension? Is it possible?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, it is not possible. So this is the issue with this single level directory. There is a naming problem, and next is grouping problems. You cannot group them also, right? You cannot group them also. Now,
Yes,
next
sir.
one is two level directory. What is this? Separate directory for each user. Now you can see a pretty simplified manner. We are having a master file directory. Here there are 4 users. Okay, and here is user file directory. You can see here separately. Now see, a file is there for user A is for user 3, a same name file is in with user 2 and with the user 1 also. So this problem is resolved now, right? So what are the
Yes, sir.
characteristics? Path name, and for accessing a file, you have to use a path that is user 1 cat and your file name. This is the path, and can have the same file name for different users. And in this manner, there is an efficient searching, because do you remember, for like in computer laboratory, I used to told you that make a folder of your name in any drive and store all your programs in that folder only, right? So if I
Yes,
ask you,
sir.
to show me program number 3, then you can straightforward go to your directory and open that program number 3, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
searching is efficient in this manner, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's move on. But here in this two-level directory, still we are not having grouping capabilities. Let's see in next, tree structure directory. Now you can see a tree-like structure. Like here is a root node, and then subdirectory, and then subdirectory, and then subdirectory, and here the files. Let me show you with this here. Can you see the tree structure here? Root node is what here? This PC, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. And
Yes,
then
sir.
a subdirectory, local disk E, and then LU, then 7.8, then 7, then classes, then MCS, second year OS, and then Unit 4, and then PPT. काफी अंदर है।
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, so have
Yes,
you seen
sir.
this hierarchy? This is a
Yes,
systematic manner. I
Yes,
have
sir.
stored this lecture notes properly here, that if I want to access, I can access them efficiently. That here I have to look for the file system. It is in Unit 4, and so I have to go to sail through all these hierarchy here in Unit 4, and then open the PPT folder, and I can get that particular file. Got it? So this
Yes,
is
sir.
the same thing as like root node, spell is there, then mail, then PRT, and then first, and here is your file at the leaf. Okay. So what are the characteristics for tree structure directory? Efficient searching, grouping capabilities is there, current directory, working directory. Okay. Can you tell me what is the difference between working directory and your root directory?
सर वर्किंग डायरेक्टरी में जिस डायरेक्टरी पे हम अपनी पीपीटी को ओपन किए हैं और रूट डायरेक्टरी
So
में
just tell me what is the working directory right now in front
सर
of you.
पीपीटी इज वर्किंग डायरेक्टरी एंड
Exactly. And your root
यूनिट
directory is this PC. Good. So here you can see path names can be of two types, absolute and relative. What is an absolute path? In absolute path, we start from the root, but in relative path, we start from the working directory only. So here you can see an absolute path name begins at the root and follows the path down to the specified file, giving the directory names on the path. And a relative path names defines a path from the current directory. Now, can you tell me the absolute path of this particular file? Tell me, absolute path.
सर पीपीटी
Absolute path, beta. Absolute path. Starts from have to start from the root.
ओके सर दिस पीसी लोकल डिस्क ई एलयू 7.87 क्लासेस एमसीए सेकेंड ईयर ओएस यूनिट 4 पीपीटी
Exactly. Then file name also. This is your
यस सर
absolute path. And if I ask you what is the relative path, then
ओनली पीपीटी
and your file name.
एंड फाइल यस सर
Okay, got it. So here you can see the, for example, if the current directory is root spell mail, then the relative path name PRT oblique first refers to the same file as does the absolute path name root spell mail PRT first. This oblique you can see also see here. If I click here, you can see this oblique are here, right?
यस सर
Okay. I think this is backward slash, right?
Yes, sir. But sir, why we do not use forward slash?
It depends upon the design of your computer system, the way they are using. Let me do the experiment. Okay.
सर गलत बताता है
Let's do it. See, it is automatically taking the same thing. तो जो उन्होंने डिजाइन किया हुआ है कि इस मैनर में होना चाहिए, जस्ट लाइक योर लाइक इन सी लैंग्वेज वी आर हैविंग फॉर कमेंट्स what is the syntax? You have to use your forward slash. Why we are not using backward slash? Because they have designed these things in that manner only. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so I will correct this. Okay. So now next is acyclic graph directory. What is the meaning of acyclic? Means in this there will be a no cycle. Okay. So here you can see this is a tree type of a structure, but it contains no cycle. It is a graph. You can see there is no cycle. And what is the benefit of using this acyclic graph? That you can have only single copy of this file. As you can see, this list file is used by this word subdirectory and this w subdirectory also. So this is the benefit of using acyclic graph directory. So links to share files, only one copy exists. And how do we guarantee there is no cycle? Allow only links to files, no subdirectories, garbage collection, and every time a new link is added, use a cycle detection algorithm to determine whether it is okay or there is a cycle. So by this we can avoid the cycle in the graph, because if there is a cycle, then there is an infinite searching. You are looking for and there is no ending. So now next one is general graph directory. Why it is there? Because in acyclic graph directory, there is a performance issue, because every time you are running a cycle detection algorithm, right? So it is hampering your performance. So what in general graph directory we do? We allow cycles to exist into the directory. We likewise want, but we want, obviously we have to avoid the infinite searching. If you have a poor design algorithm, we can stuck into an infinite loop. So what is the solution they have designed? That are they, by the intuition or by some heuristic, they decide that how much level they have to access, and after that the search will be disposed of. So one solution is to limit arbitrarily the number of directories that will be accessed during a search. General graph directory, you can see here, there may be a possibility of cycle in general graph directory. Can you see? Is there any cycle in this graph? Can you spot? Can you spot a cycle? Is there any
Yes.
cycle in this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
Yes,
I
sir.
can see one. I can see one. Look at this.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Book
sir.
to AVI and AVI to book.
Oh, yes.
This is a cycle, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and if you have not designed your algorithm properly for searching for a file, then you can stuck here. Book AVI, book AVI, book AVI, and you will not go to the leaf of this directory. So we are done with this also. So till now, what we have discussed, what is a file, why do we need it, what are the different type of files are there, their extension, what are their attributes, and what are the operations we can perform on the files. And then we have seen that file comes under the umbrella of the directory for the proper management of storing the files into the secondary storage. And then we have seen what are the different operations that we can do with the directories, and what are the logical structures, that is single level directory, two level directory, structure directory, then acyclic graph directory, and then general graph directory. What is the difference between acyclic graph directory and general graph directory? That in general graph directory there may be a possibility of a cycle, but in acyclic graph we refrain of using a cycle with the help of using a cycle detection algorithm. Okay. So are we cool till now? Are we cool?
Yes, sir.
सब clear है ना? सब theory है, total theoretical concept. You just
Yes,
have
sir.
to read one time only, and you will get flying marks in the end semester examination from this unit. Okay. So last topic, let's see. That is pretty short: efficiency, performance, and recovery. Okay. So efficiency depends on what? Disk allocation and directory algorithm, type of data that is kept in the files directory entry, pre-allocation as needed allocation of metadata structure, file fixed size or varying size data structure. Not very much important, just read once. Performance depends on what? Keeping data and metadata close together, buffer cache, separate section of main memory, synchronization right, sometimes requested by apps or needed by OS. There is, in synchronous write, there is no buffering or caching. And asynchronous writes more common, bufferable, faster. free behind and read ahead techniques to optimize sequential access. Just read. If you have some interest, you can go and open the book also to read just once what it is all about. And the last one is recovery. Suppose your file is deleted, how you will recover, or if there is an issue with something like there is an interrupt while saving, like light is gone, then there is some consistency checking is there, like compare data in directory structure with data blocks on disk and tries to fix inconsistencies. Can be slow and sometimes fails. Use system programs to backup data from disk to another storage device. Like you can take the backup, you can have a separate hard disk where you can store your data time to time. You can use your optical disk also. So recover lost files or disk by restoring data from the backup. So we are done with